She's #1 at being dumb, the new face of the DNC. Gather round, cause that's our Jazzy.
Jasmine Crockett's got another hot take. No blacks and whites on a wedding cake. The Democrats' new chosen one, Jasmine Crockett, is in the news again for an old clip where she attacked Florida Rep Byron Donalds for marrying a white woman.
Greg Gutfeld absolutely torched Jasmine Crockett live on national TV, and the fallout was nothing short of brutal devastation. With razor-sharp sarcasm and relentless fire, Gutfeld dismantled her performance piece by piece, tearing apart her act until she was left scrambling with nothing to say. This wasn't a debate. It was demolition in its purest form. Crockett showed up armed with rehearsed lines, but Gutfeld came loaded with pure heat, and the collision was explosive. The crowd didn't just watch in silence, they erupted, while social media lit up instantly, spinning into chaos at full speed. If politics ever felt boring before, this moment shattered that illusion forever. Raw, unfiltered chaos flooded the screen, and Jasmine Crockett never saw the storm coming until it was far too late.
Or literally, it's because you married a white woman and so you think that that whitewashed you.
That's not very woke, is it? Of course, Crockett isn't the only Democrat who's opposed to interracial marriage, or else more Democrats would have voted for this one. Racist!
Greg Gutfeld doesn't just argue, he obliterates, transforming calm exchanges into full-blown battlegrounds. Casual conversation isn't in his playbook. He slices straight through nonsense like a political buzzsaw, powered by sarcasm and energy sharper than any scripted soundbite. So when Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett strutted into the spotlight with her trademark flair for drama and hunger for flashy headlines, a collision wasn't possible. It was inevitable. And when it finally happened, it landed with crushing force that shook the entire stage. The very second Crockett puffed up her feathers and tried to turn House theatrics into a spectacle for cameras, she walked straight into her own downfall. Her fatal mistake? Assuming Gutfeld would handle her with the same kid gloves the mainstream media usually offers, when in reality, he came armed with no mercy and absolutely no filter.
Plantation.
Tyrus, I go to you for no particular reason. Is she making any point there?
Like this makes me wish my mom made different father choices. Because we all get sucked into this. Like, this is, if you're gonna talk about black history, at least know it. This is, at least know it, okay?
And if you're hooked on this fiery breakdown, smash that subscribe button right now. It only gets hotter from here. Instead of playing it safe, Crockett charged headfirst into the lion's den, unprepared, overconfident, and hopelessly outmatched. She's never been known for delivering true substance. She thrives as more of a performer dressed in political clothing, skilled at shouting opponents down, tossing out empty buzzwords, and staging TikTok-ready tantrums. Her entire career so far has been built on fiery outbursts, viral comebacks, and treating every microphone like an audition for applause. To her diehard fans, this somehow gets painted as fighting for justice. But to everyone else watching, it's nothing more than hollow noise packaged as self-promotion.
But it goes back to, that was 45 seconds of some of the, like, Kamala, you good right now. That was some of the dumbest I ever heard in my life. Here's the thing. This goes back to what we talked about earlier. They never have a solution. Just listen to your dumbass talk. You want to talk about agriculture? Why don't you fix the lottery? Why don't you make it easier for people who want to come into this country to work in agriculture and equitation and factories? Get rid of the lottery. Open it up. Talk to the president. Like, hey, we got a plan. We want to make it easier for people who can vet and come in and work in this country. Come up with an idea besides, any of y'all want to pick cotton? We're like, we're in suits in the middle of the Midwest. Why would we pick cotton? It's like the extreme stupidness of what she speaks. I'm so angry right now.
But Gutfeld doesn't waste time on hollow noise. He slices through it with sniper-level sarcasm and that sly grin that screams, "I already know how this ends, and you're not going to like it." So when Crockett rolled out her latest over-the-top spectacle, a messy mix of race-baiting, deflection, and predictable partisan theatrics, he didn't step in to spar, he stepped in to roast, and roast he did. Every cutting line exposed what others thought, but never dared to say out loud. Crockett wasn't standing there as a serious leader. She was revealed as nothing more than a walking viral clip, clinging desperately to attention with a performance built entirely on loud theatrics and performative outrage.
She's so rotten, she wants migrants picking cotton. We present to you Democratic Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett, who made this shocking argument why America needs immigrants. Roll it, Alfred.
So I had to go around the country and educate people about what immigrants do for this country, or the fact that we are a country of immigrants.
Right.
The fact is, ain't none of y'all trying to go and farm right now. Okay, so I'm lying. Raise your hands.
When the wheels fall off.
You're not. We done picking cotton. We are. You can't pay us enough to find a plantation.
She wasn't stepping up to deliver real questions. She was spouting self-serving monologues. She wasn't defending solid ideas. She was chasing applause with cheap one-liners crafted for clips and clicks. And in Gutfeld's world, that's the lowest brand of political theater imaginable. His takedown wasn't loud because it didn't have to be. It was sharp, deliberate, and dripping with contempt. Gutfeld didn't yell. He simply held up a mirror, and what Crockett saw staring back was devastating. Empty slogans, glaring contradictions, and the shaky logic propping up her entire persona. This wasn't just some random clash. Crockett has built her image on being the self-declared queen of committee theatrics. Every time the cameras roll, she unleashes another meltdown filled with wild gestures, dramatic pauses, and buzzwords designed to keep cable news entertained. It's theater without substance, but this time her solo act was stolen from under her. Gutfeld didn't just highlight her antics. He dismantled them piece by piece, dragging every exaggerated handwave, every staged outrage, and every scripted controversy into the light, tearing them apart with biting satire and pure, unfiltered common sense.
Kilmeade, she's getting to be the face of that party.
I know, thanks to your show.
Yeah.
I don't know what's more popular, this or The View on Gutfeld. But a couple of things. Did you see, at first I thought she was doing it for comedic purposes, but you watch back, nobody had a response. They didn't know what the hell she was talking about. And she's like, oh, really? Farming? Yes, it's called eating, farming. America's got the best farmers in the world. There's glory in doing it. People do it, and the people don't do it by hand anymore. This isn't 1820. So I was just stunned by what she's saying. But the weird thing is, she probably left that room thinking she knocked it out of the park. And I don't think that anyone can stop her from being the face of the party, except Bernie Sanders, who's 111 years old, talking about oligarchs.
He ripped apart the absurdity of her outrage, laying bare the contradictions baked into every rant she delivered. One moment, she preached unity, and the very next, she accused anyone who disagreed of plotting some grand conspiracy to silence her supposed brilliance. Gutfeld sliced straight through the act and called it what it was, a polished performance designed to distract from the truth that she's achieved almost nothing of real substance. And that's when things turned vicious. Gutfeld didn't stop at mocking her theatrics. He dug deeper, tearing into her record, or more accurately, the glaring lack of one. For all her fiery noise and endless energy, Crockett's actual accomplishments in Congress are negligible. No landmark bills, no real victories, just viral clips and puffed-up interviews where she repeats the same tired talking points louder and louder. Gutfeld stripped everything to the bone, making it crystal clear. Crockett isn't a leader, she's a brand. Nothing more than the political equivalent of a reality TV contestant mistaking chaos for charisma. Sure, it might get her Instagram fan pages and viral headlines, but it does nothing, absolutely nothing for the country.
Do you have an opinion on this? Or should I move on to somebody?
No, I just... It has to come from me.
Yes.
Okay. None of y'all are qualified. Not just for one thing. I'm mad at Charmaine the guy because he should have kicked her out. See, the problem is that we are allowing our own culture to be openly racist and get away with it. Now, if a white person is offended by that, and they should be, they say something, it's like, it's not the same thing. But if you say that, and another brother looks at you and goes, man, you wrong for that. And I don't want you on my show. Get the hell out. Because I'm telling you right now, if I was not on the show, which happens sometimes, and someone was sitting in his chair and he was complaining about black men this and black that, and they shouldn't be here, and you know what happens when a white woman marries a black guy, you would not have seen that guy in the next segment. He would have kicked his ass off, because you're not going to talk about somebody that I care about like that, or another person like that. That's the problem.
Crockett's defenders rushed in with predictable outrage, waving the same tired flags. They cried identity politics, insisting every critique was rooted in bigotry, misogyny, or, wait for it, fear of her so-called power. But Gutfeld wasn't fooled for a second. He cut through the noise with surgical precision, reminding everyone that criticism isn't hate, it's accountability. And if she can't handle accountability, maybe politics isn't her stage at all. The public's reaction was savage. Social media exploded. Memes spread like wildfire, with one viral image showing Gutfeld towering over a cartoonish Crockett, with the caption, "Sit down and learn something." Others looped the clash like a UFC knockout, complete with replay-worthy humiliation. But let's be clear, Crockett authored this disaster herself. No one baited her, no one set a trap. She confidently grabbed the mic, stepped into the spotlight, and forgot one harsh truth. Greg Gutfeld doesn't spar, he scorches. While she tried to deflect, spin, and screech her way out, Gutfeld hammered back with facts, wit, and sarcasm sharp enough to cut through steel.
Yeah, all right, stop it! Although I must say you have great taste. Happy Wednesday, everyone. Oh, man. Okay.
It was like watching someone try to fight fire with glitter. Flashy, useless, and hopelessly outmatched. Even her usual allies started quietly backing away, realizing this was a train wreck no one wanted their name attached to. Gutfeld wasn't just dismantling one sloppy soundbite. He was tearing apart the entire spectacle-driven style of politics that Crockett embodies. He put a burning spotlight on this new breed of politicians who think viral clips can replace real leadership, and he did it with humor so sharp it was impossible to ignore. Then came the knockout blow. After shredding her logic, mocking her theatrics, and exposing her hollow record, Gutfeld drove the message home with a ruthless reminder of what true leadership really means. It's not about yelling louder than critics, it's not about staged outrage for clicks, and it's not about cheap insults for headlines. It's about showing up, doing the work, and delivering actual change. Not memes, not hollow sound bites, not TikTok tantrums. Jasmine Crockett learned the hard way that when you swap real action for cheap attention, someone like Greg Gutfeld will always be there, ready to torch your talking points, call your bluff, and hand it back with a side of satire and total humiliation.
Jesse, they called Musk a Nazi, and next thing you know, you got swastikas on cars. They called Trump Hitler and a Nazi and a fascist, and he got shot. So I don't really ever see that happening on the Republican side when we make fun of Democrats. It's also about the supporters. It's not just the leaders. It seems like Democrats are easily programmed to do bad things.
Yes, they are. They're very easily programmed, Greg.
I made you say that.
This wasn't just a takedown. It was a flashing warning sign in real time. Greg Gutfeld didn't simply shred Jasmine Crockett's act. He turned it into a brutal lesson for every politician hooked on the sugar high of social media applause, for those who think volume equals effectiveness, or that TikTok tantrums count as real achievements. Gutfeld just stamped across their entire playbook with a giant sarcastic marker. We see you, we're tired, and we're not impressed. The truth is clear. This wasn't a debate, and it wasn't even close to a fair exchange. It was the intellectual equivalent of an ambush at a vegan potluck, where Gutfeld stormed in with a rack of ribs and a megaphone, blowing the roof off the room. Crockett tried to stir the crowd with her usual cocktail of outrage and buzzwords, but her arguments leaked credibility faster than a sinking submarine. And this time, the audience wasn't buying it. There were no standing ovations, no sympathy, just the thick silence of secondhand embarrassment. The kind you feel when someone attempts a bold stunt only to fall flat on their face in front of millions.
First, they cursed, now they thirst for blood. Jasmine Crockett is upping her temper tantrums, now saying the only way Democrats can win elections is by throwing hands.
I think you punch. I think you're okay with you okay with punching. It's Ted Cruz. I mean, like, this dude has to be knocked over the head, like, hard, right?
Crockett scrambled to recover, flailing like a broken machine, spitting out buzzwords like systemic oppression, voice of the people, and the classic, "let me finish." But every phrase bounced off Gutfeld's calm, unshaken grin. It was like watching someone try to put out a grease fire by yelling at it. Flashy, loud, but completely useless. Meanwhile, Gutfeld looked almost bored, dismantling her with surgical precision. Steady, calculated, and devastating. His delivery was so composed it was almost comical, like he was reading a script. "Thank you for your outrage. Please hold while we transfer you to someone who cares." He wasn't just winning. He was cruising, untouched, as if elevator music was playing in his head while Crockett desperately tried to salvage her pride. And then there was the audience. They weren't just watching, they were eating it up. Every sarcastic jab Gutfeld fired landed like fireworks in a room full of egos. Laughter exploded, heads turned, and Crockett's so-called moment of courage collapsed into a live demonstration of what happens when a loud politician crashes into a brutal reality check.
Now, she claims that she wasn't talking about Abbott's wheelchair at all. Yet she's mentioned Abbott's wheels before. In 2022, she posted Beto's rolling around the state. Where's Abbott rolling to? And according to the Washington Free Beacon, Crockett also liked several Facebook comments referring to Abbott as Hot Wheels back in 2020.
Her supporters scrambled to spin the wreckage, firing off frantic tweets and rushing out think pieces within minutes. Someone probably hammered together a dramatic Instagram post about misogyny, only to realize no hashtag could erase the scorch marks left behind. The damage was permanent. This wasn't a slip-up. It was a complete collapse. The Empress wasn't just exposed. She was live-streaming her own downfall for the world to see. And Gutfeld? He had already walked away from the battlefield, his calm expression saying it all. He knew he had won. This wasn't just a spat, it was a cultural autopsy, a ruthless dismantling not just of Jasmine Crockett, but of an entire wave of politicians who confuse clout with competence and tantrums with leadership. What made it sting even more was Gutfeld's composure. He never once raised his voice. No table slams, no shouting, just razor-sharp mockery and fact after fact, delivered with the timing of a late-night comic and the patience of someone who's seen this circus too many times before. He wasn't angry. He was bored. And that boredom cut deeper than any rage ever could. Crockett clutched the microphone, still waiting for applause that never came. It was politics turned karaoke, belting her heart out to an empty room, only to realize the mic had never even been on.
How long is she going to keep this thing that she wasn't talking about, the wheelchair?
Yeah. Come on, babe, you know you're full of and all that, Jasmine. I think what happened was AOC was like, you guys, I need to triangulate and be serious now because I'm going to be a senator. So someone has to be a talking attention whore. Who's it going to be? And Jasmine raised her hand and goes, excuse me, Congresswoman Cortez, I speak jive.
What it is, mama.
She threw everything she had into the performance, but it still collapsed. Because volume isn't vision, and hashtags will never replace a governing plan. This wasn't about left versus right anymore. It was substance versus spectacle, reality versus optics. Gutfeld didn't just dismantle one politician. He ripped back the curtain on an entire movement infecting American politics, the rise of the viral lawmaker. These are the ones who treat Congress like an influencer mansion, who see the chamber as a stage, and every bill as nothing more than a script begging for clicks. And that's the real warning here. Politics is not a reality show, not a stage for endless slogans without results, and not a playground for clout chasing dressed up as activism. It's supposed to be about action, not attention. And if you dare turn it into a circus, Greg Gutfeld will be there, armed with a monologue sharp enough to torch your act and rewrite your career as nothing more than a cautionary tale. And Jasmine Crockett? She learned that truth the hard way. Live in front of millions, with no escape and no applause left to save her.